Man, this thing is crazy. I was trying to get it to be set up through the one that you got the email with, but for some reason it wasn't working. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'll figure it out for the next one. Thank you. I appreciate that. It sucks too because I really wanted to share it onto YouTube as well, but I have to figure out a different way to do it. Just waiting for a few more people to join in, and then I'll start, talking about tonight's topic. All right, one more person, then I'll go ahead and begin. I hope you guys are doing well, taking care of yourselves during this pandemic. I know it's crazy times we're experiencing, but all we can do is make the best of it. All right. Okay, so tonight's topic is about manifestation and why you shouldn't give up and why it's important not to give up, right? So, this is something that has been on my mind a lot lately, especially as I experience different things, just kind of waiting to see how the universe continues to play things out. But I just wanted to come on here tonight to share the message that when you have your mind set on something that you want to accomplish, it's important that you realize that by continuously pursuing your goals and not giving up, you make way for that to actually happen. A lot of people may or may not know. I know Marjorie and Lisa know, of course, but just like a year ago, I was on these lives just speaking on how much I wanted to have a wife and how much, would have been really good to have, an additional child. And here I am, I have the wife, I have the child, and I have the house. All of that was able to become manifested within a year. It wasn't something that, I kind of knew that wouldn't happen. It just energy that I felt that the more I kept thinking positive about the situation, that eventually it'll come to light. So just to give you like a little backstory on how that was actually able to happen, is just before I met her, or before I decided that I wanted to get married officially, like I was having these live sessions like at least every day, pretty much just going over the fact that, I felt like my life was changing. I felt like something big was happening, but I just didn't know what it was. And it was one of those things that it actually caught me by surprise because, I was saying it, kept telling everyone that this is what I wanted, but there was really no, clear indication that it was happening. It didn't really start to become a reality until I started to realize, like, wow, I'm actually creating my life right before my hands, or right before my eyes, and it's happening so fast that I couldn't deny the power of it, When I met her back in February, like, I didn't tell her this, but I knew, like, at that time that she would become my wife. I just knew it was something that I had to allow myself to let it develop versus forcing it to happen. Because I know sometimes when we want something, we kind of force it. Like, we ignore all of the red flags and all of the signs as to why something shouldn't take place. But this was something that literally, from the moment that I met her back in February when we had our first date, all the way back until, like, I think August when we got engaged, it just, it really set in. And it all stemmed from me being able to accept it as my reality, making it a part of my day-to-day. And even before I knew her, I just knew that this is something I wanted. And because it was something I wanted, I made sure that everything I did prepared me for that moment. It sounds crazy replaying it or, saying it over and over, thinking like, dang, like he really did that. But I really did. I really did. And I really just realized that for me to have what I wanted in life, it took me to have discipline. I couldn't be out here just, having fun with any and everybody. No, I had to realize that, I had to humble myself in such a way that was going to make me get to this place. And it wasn't easy, especially for the house part. You know how hard it is to get a house, especially when you don't have any like previous experience. You have to save your money, get your credit score a certain way. You have to make sure you're not running your credit, because that's the biggest thing. When you're getting a house, you're running your credit. That's going to bring your score down. And automatically they're going to see that and think of it as, oh, well, okay, he's not financially responsible enough for us to grant him this loan so that he can get this house. But all of those things were what I created for myself. And by creating it for myself, it allowed me to be in this position I'm in now, in support of my family, in support of, the kids and just everything else that comes along with it, because I didn't give up. Even down to the daughter aspect, I've wanted a daughter for years, man. Like I used to tell everyone, like I just want to have a daughter. Like I don't know how or why, but I just felt like me having a daughter would just literally become the biggest moment of my life. And here I am, 8 years later. Because my son is 8, but 8 years later, here I am, finally with a daughter. Why? Because I created that reality for myself as well. And during the time when I was creating it for her, I would literally, talk to Lisa about it. Like, yeah, it would be cool to have a daughter. Like, I don't know. Like, I've tried for so long. Like, I don't see how that could happen. What would make it possible to happen? And it wasn't until let's see. I know before, like years ago on Facebook, I stopped, probably not so long ago, but I used to share, pictures of little daughters, like little girls, with their fathers or just with their parents. Like, yeah, this is what I want. This is what I want to be able to experience for myself. And all of that stemmed, again, from me sharing that information. What I was doing was allowing it to become a part of my mind and allowing it to become a part of my day-to-day. Whenever I would see a father out with his daughter, yeah, good job, man. Congratulations. You look really good. I didn't have to do that, but it felt good to know that by me releasing this negative energy that one would think I would have based on the fact I didn't have the experience, it allowed me to create that. It allowed me to have peace in my mind knowing that I can get to this place and it's okay. It may take time, yes. It may not happen right away, but, just the moment that it does happen, it will become sweet and it will become something that will allow other people to have the same experience as well. And that's why I wanted to come on here today to share it with you guys, because I know a lot of people out there, they're probably, defeated. They feel like they're not going to get what they want in life and they're stuck, they're miserable, they're wondering when is it going to happen. Just don't give up. Just continue to fight and work hard for what it is that you want. If you say you want to get married, make it happen. You have all that it takes to get married. If you say you want to create a business, the same thing. You have all that it takes to have that business. Just continue to put out that positive energy and continue to believe in yourself, knowing that you're going to accomplish what you want. Because with the human mind, we can do anything we put our minds to. It's just a matter of if we believe it or if we trust the process enough. And I'm not religious. I grew up religious, of course, but now I'm just more so like a spiritual person. I have my own experience, but even still, by me doing that, that's allowed me to trust the universe's ability to give me all that I say I want. I have another example where today was supposed to be my first day back at work, like literally for 3 weeks since, I have my daughter. I haven't been able to go to work, spending the time with her, bonding with her and everything. My manager called me this afternoon and he told me, Amadou, you don't have to come back into work. I'm like, what? Why? He was like, yeah, I spoke to HR today and they said because you just had a baby, it's not safe. You should stay at home. I was like, wow. Like I instantly started crying. Don't judge me. I'm very emotional when it comes to this type of stuff. But it just really felt good knowing that, what I was worried about and what I was unsure about kind of just gave me like a moment of clarity. People at my job, like I think there's 2 people at my job that have coronavirus. And I was just telling Lisa, like I was so hesitant as to going back to work. Like I didn't feel safe, with the newborn and just me being exposed to different people. Like I didn't know if it would be healthy. Like it just didn't sound right. She just kept saying like, there's no way you could talk to your manager. There's no way your manager can do anything for you. I'm like, nah, I just got to go. All I can do is just got to be safe and make sure I take the precautions. And lo and behold, like today, he just gave me that, great news, and it just put me in such a positive place. It just kind of let me know that the more we put ourselves out there and we allow ourselves to become vulnerable, that's the more success that we'll have. I know a lot of people feel kind of hesitant, like, well, I've been, struggling for years and nothing's been getting me where I needed to go. But sometimes that's okay. There's always going to be a dark tunnel at the end of there's always going to be a rainbow at the end of the dark tunnel. That's basically just a sign of saying that you should continue to fight no matter how hard it gets. And I know it's going to be difficult. Trust me. I've been through a lot of stuff in my life. But at the same time, knowing that you can go through those things and still come out victorious, that should be your motivation. And the more, you see that this is what you want for yourself, there's going to be times where there's going to be things that you're not going to allow to interfere with that. Like if you want to get married, you're not going to be out here just entertaining anybody because you have a standard that you set for yourself. And that's what you want. That standard is going to be what's going to allow you to get to that next level. The same thing with you wanting to have a career. You're not just going to accept anything if that's going to set you short of the mark that you have already set for yourself. You're just going to keep working towards what it is that you want to keep building yourself up. And that's what life is all about. You know, sometimes we look at life and say, it's challenging, it's difficult, it's impossible for us to achieve what it is that we wish, that we desire the most. But sometimes that's okay. You know, you're not always going to have what you want, like, within a matter of weeks or days. Sometimes it takes years. You know, like I said earlier, for me, I've wanted a daughter since the time I had a son. Like, it's crazy because my son's mother and I literally sat there and kept saying that this is going to be a girl, this is going to be a girl. And it didn't happen. I felt crushed. Like, damn, you know, for the longest, you know, I wanted a girl and it couldn't happen. And that's why, you know, at my gender reveal, I cried. Like, I legit broke down into tears. Like, wow, finally my dreams have been accomplished. And it didn't result in me just giving up or feeling defeated. No, I just knew that it was going to happen. You know, it was one of those moments where even before I even realized that we were having a girl, for the gender reveal, I decided I'm just going to wear a pink shirt. I'm just going to put this out there because I know deep down that this is going to be a girl. Even on the decorations, like all of the letters were a lowercase letter, but the one letter in there, or the one word in there that was capitalized was girl. And I was like, Lisa, you see this? This is already a sign that this is a girl. And that's what happened. So it's just crazy, but I mean, when you're that in tune with yourself and when you're that sure of yourself and you know what you want, you're going to always be able to accomplish that, because what's meant for you will always be meant for you, no matter what. And if it's not meant for you, then it's okay. Just know that you've tried your best to do what you could do to accomplish it, and it didn't happen, but that's okay. You know, life is not always going to be about getting what we want anyway. Sometimes you have to lose the battle if you want to win the war. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where you have to accept, you know, the things that come along with it. It's all a part of the process. And that's why I'm here to just express that for you guys and just kind of give you like a heads up. You know, I know there's people out there going through a lot. You know, you feel, you know, like life is beating you up, but don't worry. It's not going to be like that forever. Eventually, you're going to be able to sit back and just, you know, wow, I remember this moment when I was stuck, you know, just feeling like I couldn't accomplish anything. And here I am. You know, here I am. Do you guys have any questions or anything else you wanted me to discuss regarding this topic? I know this was kind of like random. I was trying to do this like earlier today, but I wanted more people to be on here. I figure it's better when we have more interaction. So let's see. I'll give you guys a couple minutes. I see a crying emoji. What's that about? Yeah, I mean, this whole thing is tough, man. It's tough. I swear. It really makes you appreciate the things you have more when you know you have to work towards it. You know, it's one of those things, but you have to know that when you have your mind set on whatever it is you want, you just have to get there. Okay, so one moment. We have some questions. So Joanna says, you answered my questions. I wanted to know more about manifestation. Yeah, most definitely. I mean, manifestation is just a matter of knowing that this is what you want and you're going to accomplish it. It's just basically sending your intentions to the universe. So, like, if you know you want to achieve something, it's always best to, like, not to talk to a lot of people about it. And when you don't talk to people, it kind of helps give you clarity because you're not worried about being distracted. I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of people hate, you know, whether it's people that you're close with, people you're, you know, acquaintances with, but people literally will hate you for achieving something that they cannot achieve. They don't want to see you prosper because they know if you prosper, it's going to make them mad. So you have people out there that will legit give you bad advice on purpose because they don't want to see you get where you need to be. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people about marriage before I got married, and people were like, oh, well, you shouldn't get married. Nowadays, women are getting divorced from men like left and right, you know. Oh, you're going to be sitting here miserable. You're going to be sitting here stuck, all because of the fact, you know, women are playing men. That may be your reality, but that's not my reality. You know what I mean? I know how to make things happen based on what I want. Instead of, you know, allowing people to get in the way of, you know, what you're trying to do. And that's why I say, like, when you're trying to manifest something, sometimes you may not even have to speak it out loud. Say it in your heart. Trust that, you know, with what you're doing in life is going to guide you towards that process so you can accomplish it. It's just, that's why sometimes when you're talking to too many people, it can kind of bring negativity to you. Same thing when I was purchasing the house. A lot of people told me I shouldn't buy a house. I wish I could tell you guys why. But a lot of people told me, like, straight up, you should not buy a house. There's no reason why you need to buy a house. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? And imagine if I was someone that was listening to people because of the fact that I was going to be stuck miserable because I'm following what they're saying. But I still just overcame all of that stuff and said, you know what? It doesn't matter. If I'm going to buy a house, I'm buying it for me and my family. I'm not buying it for you or to make you happy. Just because you can't have a house or because you have a house you don't like doesn't mean I'm going to. But that's what I'm talking about. You just got to, be able to move in such a way that's going to eliminate all the distractions. And like Priscilla said, you move in silence. You eliminate all the blockages that can come along. Because a lot of people will hate on you. A lot of people will tell you why you shouldn't do something. And it's not because they see that you won't be the best candidate. They just don't want to see you successful because they can't be. It's real out here. And this is why I'm always saying you got to, achieve what you want, but you have to know how you go about it. There's a way that you move. You don't tell everybody your business. And if you are telling people, you got to know that you can trust that person. Because some people out there will pretend to be your friend when really they're hating on you. So let me get to the rest of these comments. So Lisa says, no question, but I just wanted to say, don't ever feel like you're too old for anything for you to happen. That's so true. So true. And I stay overreacting like, dang, I'm 31, I still don't have this, I still don't have that. But it doesn't matter. I'm living for myself. And the more you live for yourself and your family, the more you can accomplish those things. Because you don't have to worry about, oh, well, my family has this timeline for me that I have to meet. Like, so what? Who cares? If you're happy, you're happy. You can't live your life making other people happy because they're going to have unrealistic expectations of you. And you're going to sit there trying to find every way you can to get where you need to be for them versus yourself. And that's not fair. You don't deserve that. All right, so we have another comment. So Minnie says, how do you accomplish a challenging workplace? Like, what do you mean in terms of trying to accomplish what you want or more so just dealing with difficult people? Because I feel like those are two different things. And let's see. Lisa also says everything happens when it's supposed to happen for you. Like I always tell you, everything happens on time for you. That's so true. I remember I was talking to my grandmother earlier today about what you told me about how the baby was scheduled to be due on the 20th. And then the baby didn't come until the 9th. A week later at work, people got coronavirus. So imagine if I would have stayed there that extra week, I would have been in contact and I couldn't have been in, the delivery room. I couldn't even been with you guys. So it would have just been even more difficult because now here I am experiencing this life-altering experience and I can't even be a part of it. I would have been so devastated. But that little girl, that little angel came and gave us so much hope for that. And that's another prime example of why manifestation works. I manifested so much through her and I allowed so much to come from that it created such a space where I didn't have to worry about anything. I can't wait for her to get older and I can tell her how, powerful she is based on the fact that she did that. Because I don't even think that anyone would realize how much of an effect that can have. You know what I mean? That's huge. Just a week later, had I stayed at work, I would have probably come in contact with it. And I wouldn't have been able to be there. Wow. Crazy. Alright, so Marjorie says, what should you say in your manifestation if you don't know what exactly you're looking for? Well, what I will say is just that if you are looking to manifest something, maybe you should start by asking for clarity. Maybe asking for like a sign of what would be good for you, like what it is that you could benefit from, because that is a real thing where you may not know. But I just know, like, if you can maybe write out a list, if you can come up with ideas based on the things that you know that you may want deep down, it can start to become something that can, take shape. I think sometimes too, the more we say it out loud, kind of like what I was saying on my previous lives, like a year ago, is that when you say something out loud, it helps to become a process. It helps to become a part of your mind and your train of thought. So the more you start to say it, the more you start to express it, the easier it becomes. So for example, if you want a new car, you can say stuff like, I want to have a new car, or I will have a new car. I will have what I desire. I will have what I want. You're speaking life into your situation. You're giving yourself hope that there's going to be an opportunity where you will have those moments. And I think that's what manifestation is all about. It's almost like prayer, except you're not going to outside source other than yourself. You're now coming into yourself and you're trusting that you're going to make this happen. This is why they say like New Year's resolutions are so good at that time, because it gives you the chance to have that moment where you can have, like a new outlook or a positive train of thought. It's just that many people don't follow through with them, so they kind of give up. But if you can keep that energy going, you can keep allowing yourself to get where you need to be. That's exactly what it is. So you're giving yourself the chance to accomplish all that you said that you're going to accomplish. That's why it's important not to, talk negatively about what you're doing or anything that you want. Like, oh, I'm too ugly. Oh, I'm not going to get this. Oh, I don't deserve that. I shouldn't get that promotion. This person's better than me. So what if you think that they're better than you, but you still need to do what you need to do to get yourself where you need to be? The more you believe it, the more you can achieve it. So that's a good question, Marjorie. That's really good. Priscilla says, or because I want to be a housewife, I'm going to be financially abused. Oh, yeah, that's true. A lot of people, like I said, they really hate. And because they hate, they don't want you to have what they wish they could have. So whoever may be saying something like that, they're probably wishing like deep down, you know what? I want to have the same thing for myself, but I can't. So because I see that she wants to have it, I'm going to do everything I can to throw salt on her wounds. I mean, it's just the same thing. Like on the previous lives I've had before where I talk about men paying bills, there's guys out there that will legit get hurt, by seeing a man step up and do the things that a man is supposed to do. They feel as though he should be dependent on his woman, but because he depends on her, that means that that's less that he has to worry about. Like, he doesn't have to worry about getting played because now he knows, oh, well, the woman will take care of it and he'll be able to manage things through her, and he'll never have to feel like he's doing it alone. But it's not about doing it alone. We all have our position in life, like the things that we should do, the things that benefit us. But if you're busy worried about someone playing you, you don't need to be in a relationship, because clearly you're sending out too many mixed signals based on what it is that you claim you want. You know what I mean? This is why I always say you can't claim you want something, get it, and then when you get it, you don't know how to handle it. That's stupid, So that's a really good point, Priscilla, because I talk about that a lot, and I always say, like, people just, they're negative. They don't want to see you have success because of their inability to have success. And that's how you go, All right. Lisa also says, yes, I always say this, not everything needs to be announced. I know. You always remind me of that, and I have a hard time accepting it too. I always want to share everything with everybody because I want everybody to know. Like, sometimes when you have good news, you can't help it. You want people to feel the same way you feel. You want people to understand the same things that you feel. But now I'm at a place now where it's like, it don't matter what I'm doing. If it's not something that I guess is like common knowledge that I feel like people should know, I won't share it. And that's right. As you have a family, as you have, children especially, like, you want to protect their security. Like, you want to give them so much that you don't have to worry about other people coming in and getting in the way of it. And I mean, and the same thing, you have families sometimes that will purposely tell, children, oh, well, your parent or your father or your mother is not doing a good job. And you got kids sitting here wondering, like, dang, like, what do you mean they're not doing a good job? Do you know that they're doing this and they're doing that? They're not really looking out for you and giving you the things that you want? But that's the thing. It's just like, you got to be careful. And as we have this conversation tonight, I mean, I just want to keep stressing the fact that when you manifest something or when you want to manifest something, you have to always come from a pure place. You don't allow any negativity to come in your way. And I mean, I get, we have that negative talk, or we have that self-doubt, or even self-sabotaging behavior where we kind of do things to ruin the things that we have because we've never appreciated. But you have to give yourself time. You have to allow yourself the ability to maybe, how do I put it? Maybe value what you have. You know what I mean? Like, if you have to take a chance to sit back and reflect on it and think about it, maybe even talk to people that are, doing well for themselves, and people that are positive. I think that's important too. Like, one thing I love, like, especially about, this whole marriage thing, is that when you're married, you have like other married couples you can go to. It's kind of like a support system. You never have to feel like you're alone. So when you're married, you're not thinking, oh, well, let me go talk to my single friend that has been saying that they don't want to get married for years. Why would you do that? Why not go to someone that you know that is married, has a successful marriage, and has been thriving for, some time? And that's why I think it's important to have a community, because when you have a community, you know that you have a group of people that they're not going to bring negativity to you. They're all striving to achieve what it is that they want, all at the same level, all at the same pace. So everything they're doing is looking like a moment of, you know, us achieving our goals. And that's how it should be. That's why it's important to make sure that you don't keep yourself around those people. And that's why they say misery loves company. Because you got miserable ass people out here, and they will do anything they can to drag you down. They don't want you seeing success, not without them, or not, you know, while they're miserable and not able to succeed. It's crazy. But that's how it goes, man. We got people out here that don't want to see nobody get, you know, what it is they want. Especially if they can. Impossible. And you're welcome, Joanna. All right, so we have many that says dealing with difficult people. Well, I would say when you're at work dealing with difficult people, it's always best to maybe just not even interact with them. Like if you have people at work that want to make things harder for you, just keep it at the work level. Like one of the things I found through the years that helped me a lot is just that not everybody that you work with is a friend. You know, some people are literally just work, you know, people, co-workers. It's no different than high school if you think about it too. Like I'm sure in high school you probably had a lot of friends that you were cool with, a lot of people you connected with, but the moment you left high school, you don't talk to them anymore. It's easy to be cool with someone or to think you're cool with someone because you see them every day. But the moment you get to a place where you know that this is only a work relationship, and once I leave work, there's nothing else outside of it, that's it. And this is why when you're at work, it's important that you separate the two. So if that means not adding people to your Facebook, not adding people to your Snapchat, or whatever it may be, that's helpful. Because then you don't have negative people coming into your space trying to create jealousy or kind of create issues that don't exist because they're upset. So that means that if you have to separate those two boundaries and create that, I mean, that's helpful. This is why boundaries are so important, because once you set, you know, clear expectations for someone, anytime they cross those lines, cut them off. Cut them off. That's it. And that's for anybody, family, friends, co-workers. It doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter. Whoever is there creating negative energy for you and preventing you from getting where you want to be, no matter what it is, you don't need them in your life. Whoever's meant to be in your life is always going to influence you in a positive way. I mean, yeah, you'll have a few moments where you guys will have disagreements, but disagreements don't always have to be negative. Like, I can still disagree with anything anyone says, but I don't have to hate them. I don't have to mistreat them or make them feel any indifferent. So if you're experiencing that, I mean, I hope that helps. But definitely separation and boundaries are the key when it comes to dealing with difficult people at work. You know, because it's the same thing. You know, I know for me, sometimes at my job when I'm experiencing things and I want to share it so much with people, I kind of get those moments where I talk to people that I'm cool with, and you have other people that are around listening, and they're creating jealousy with that. Oh, well, why would you do this? Oh, do you think that's a good idea? Maybe you should wait. No, maybe you should wait, but I'm not waiting. Amadu's going to do what Amadu wants to do, you know? And that's something that we have to learn sometimes. It's just that when we want to achieve what it is that we want, we can't allow people to get in our way. I'm going to keep stressing that because that's important. I've experienced that a lot within these last few years with all these things that I've done, from the baby, from the marriage, from the house, from everything that I'm doing. I've experienced hate on all levels of that, but I've never allowed it to get me bent out of shape or out of the way of what it is that I want. You know, when something's meant for you, you have to continue to strive for it. And trust and believe, when you're manifesting something, if you're having these positive thoughts of achieving something, that's a sign that it's meant for you. You know, no goal is unattainable. It's just a matter of us being able to discipline ourselves and channel our energy well enough so that we can achieve it. And that's what it's all about when it comes to manifestation. All right, so let me get back into the rest of these comments. One moment. Hey, what's good, Frank? Nothing much, just sharing with the people about positive energy and why we should always keep focused. And Rochelle Muhammad says, you are a good brother with a warm and respectful heart. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So Priscilla says, I'm at that point too. I've been protective of my personal life. My life is mine to live and for me to live in the moment. That's true. I think that we have to be. I mean, I know there's so much that we experience and we want to share with the world. We want to give other people the opportunity to be able to have that joy with us, but it's not always good. I mean, that's why you see sometimes it's always better to maybe celebrate it or express it after it's already happened, because you know when that's happened, like there's nothing that can get in your way. There's no blockages that are there because you've accomplished it. And I think that that's how it should be. You know, when we want to achieve our goals, you know, the less amount of people or the least amount of people that we can talk to about it, the better it will be. Trust and believe that. And I know it sounds crazy because a lot of us have, like, you know, what we think are big support systems, people that genuinely care, but they don't. They don't. They're probably talking back about other people, you know, telling them, oh, well, this mother effer thinks that they are better than us. They think that they're doing something well. I remember when I was a vegan years ago, and I would literally not eat meat, you know, on, you know, going to like cookouts or like family functions. I had like some family members getting jealous. Like, oh, you think you're better than us? You're not eating meat now, so you feel like you're doing more than we're doing? I'm like, how? This is my personal journey. I can do what I want for myself. It doesn't have anything to do with you. But people only get mad when they're not living right. You know, they get mad because they want to have that same experience too, and they can't. So anything you're doing that's going to make them raise their levels up because they have to, they're not going to do it. They're just going to always look at it from a place of, well, what could I do that they aren't doing? What could I be doing that they aren't doing? Something like that. It's just like stupid. Like a lot of people are like bitter. I mean, trust and believe, a lot of people, whatever it takes, would always express that bitterness because they don't want to see you rise. And that's what it comes down to, you know? All right, Monty, I see you. Appreciate that. And Frank says, facts. I always seek counsel from successful married older black men. Their wisdom is paramount. It's true. And I think that's why we have to have this like little brotherhood space too, especially for men. A lot of men don't always have like outlets. And I think that's the biggest part as to why we see men breaking down so much. Like as far as like having these violent shootings or these little violent moments, because they don't have no one to talk to. Every chance they get where, you know, there's a moment where they feel like they should express something, they're being shamed. Like I can't tell you guys how many times I've, you know, accomplished something and I've done something and I've cried. I'm not afraid to cry. Like literally, I told you guys earlier when it was announced that I was having a girl, I cried. And people in my family were clowning me. Like, why are you crying for? Men should not cry. Even at the wedding day. Even though I didn't cry and there were flies in my eyes and I was wiping them out, my family thought I was crying. Like, oh, you're a man, you shouldn't cry. You shouldn't cry? Like, what do you mean I shouldn't cry? As men, we're allowed to express ourselves and show emotions. That's okay. It doesn't make us less of a man, no. If anything, it makes us more vulnerable and it makes us more in tune with ourselves to know that by us doing this is going to give us an outlet. It gives us the opportunity to feel like we have a voice. It's just so sad that we live in such a society that tells men that they can't do that. You know, because then we have little boys growing up and thinking the same thing. And as they grow up, who's going to be there to teach them that it's not? You know? That's why another reason for us as fathers being there for our sons and teaching them that it's okay to have these moments where we can talk things out. Like, you're not a bad person because you share your emotions. No. If anything, you're a person that uses reasoning and logic to get where you need to be. Because if you're just going off of your emotions and you're mad because you feel angry at the moment, you're going to either end up dead or in jail. I mean, you decide based on that. And what's up, Gabe? And what's up, Cassandra? All right. Cassandra says people are insecure. That's the root of haters. Yeah, that's true. I always realize that too. I mean, if it's something that they felt that they could achieve, I'm sure they'll do the same thing. They'll get themselves where they need to be. But again, you have people that, I just think they're negative people in general. Honestly, like I want to say that they were born to be that way, but of course no one was born that way. But some people are just so bitter in their minds because they don't want to see other people successful. You know, it's easy to accept someone at their lowest point because you know that they're miserable. Why else would you think someone would be comfortable with you depending on them? But the moment you don't depend on them anymore, they see that you're prosperous. They see that you can survive without them and you can make things happen. You know, this is why I always say you got to be careful who you surround yourself with. Anyone that's really going to look out for you will always have your best interest in heart. They'll never want to see you miserable. They'll never want to see you unsuccessful. You know, it's a motto that I have where it's like, if I eat, I want to make sure you eat too. Like, I'm not going to have good information or great information and not share it with you. For what? How does that benefit me to keep it all to myself? No. Because if you can benefit from that information and get yourself where you need to be, you're going to do the same thing for someone else. And that's why, you know, I keep stressing this whole community aspect. Because as you have a community, you're going to surround yourself with people that only want the best for you. And by wanting the best for you, they're going to do everything they can to get you in that position. That's it. I don't care who it is, you know. And this is why I always say, like, without a community, we're lost, people. We're lost people trying to find identity that doesn't always exist, because it's not going to come from us getting it by ourselves. We just have to trust that by us having people that are like-minded, people that are just, in the same mindset of what we're going through, it's all going to be, aligned together, and everything will be right. So I'll keep this open for a little bit longer, just in case if you guys have any other questions or any other comments that you want to make. But definitely, I'm going to start doing these lives again. I know, like, I've been saying that for a while, but now that the baby's here and now I can actually focus on doing them, I think it's a good idea. Yeah, I do have a YouTube channel too, and I was trying to upload it to YouTube, but it just wouldn't work for some reason. So bear with me too. If you ever see that I'm doing a live again and I don't start it exactly at that time, I'm actually just trying to work my way towards, getting it shared on multiple platforms. That way I don't have to go back and redo it again. That's from my podcast to my lives on YouTube to my Facebook lives as well too. So yeah, bear with me with that. So I'll still keep this up. Let's see if y'all got any questions. I used to do these lives like every day too, like last year, I think it was, or 2 years ago. Yeah. It's almost like, that was like one of the peak moments of my life too, because I used to always have topics to share and people used to always be on tune. So I hope that I can get that back, because I think that it's important. Like, as we know that we have people that we can relate with or people we can talk to, you feel at peace. You feel like you have a safe space. You don't ever feel like you have to hold in your information or feel like nobody's going to understand what you're going through. That's what I want to be able to create this platform for, so that we can all have a moment where we can express and we can all, interact with each other without feeling shame. That's one reason why, too, I don't allow anyone to do that on my page. It's not helpful at all. Like, if someone's going through something, we should be able to come together and look out for each other without having to worry about someone feeling embarrassed or someone feeling, like, oh, well, this person's going to judge me. This person's going to make me feel bad. No, for what? We're all human. We all go through stuff. It's not the end of the world, but, definitely. As long as we know that we can overcome what it is we're going through, everything will be all right. And that's what life is all about. So I'm going to keep this open now for questions. Just in case if you guys have anything else you want to discuss for the new people that just joined in, definitely just type it in and then I'll get to it as I see them come in. If not, I will end it though, because I just don't want to sit here just looking into the camera. But I am going to try to do this like either, I want to say weekly, but I feel like a week is too long. So maybe daily, maybe every other day. We'll see. But I'll definitely keep a little reminder out there too, so you guys can get notified just in case. All right. My man. All right, so the Monty says, as a man, it took therapy in 2018 for me to accept my tears and emotions and let them flow. I wish I allowed that outlet years ago. It's important to you. Is it important to you as a man to wear your feelings on your sleeve, or do you covet guarding your feelings, or a balance of both? I think when I was younger, I used to value having my emotions on my sleeve, only because I felt like without me having an outlet to go to, by me being able to share it out on my sleeve, it made it easier. You know what I mean? Like, if people thought, oh, well, he's someone that's well at expressing himself, it would be, maybe I would gain more respect. But as I got older, it kind of just helped me create a balance. Not everyone deserves to see you at that vulnerable moment or at that weak spot, because a lot of people will use that against you. So the more you express your weakness, people are literally looking to see how they can push your buttons to get you to that place. This is why it's important to know that when you're around certain people, you can't show your true self to everyone, because some people, no matter who they are, would use that, as a moment of weakness. And once they know your weakness, they're going to do everything they can to push your buttons. So, for example, if you're cool with someone and you know that this person tends to do things that make you mad, and they know they make you mad on purpose, so they're constantly doing stuff to make you mad. They're only doing that because they know that that's a weakness. People prey on weaknesses. This is why sometimes you see, like in a lot of relationships or in a lot of situations, you have people that they know someone is the weaker individual, so they'll constantly pick on them. They'll constantly, dissect everything they're doing. They'll constantly find ways to, I guess, make them feel bad about what's going on. And this is their way of trying to prevent them from being able to rise above that. Because once they rise above it, they're going to become, an amazing thing. They're going to blossom into something successful. But people will do that stuff because they don't want to see you, at that level of where you need to be. So I think that's a really good question that you have. But I will say it's a matter of finding balance. Like, you have to know when and where to bring it out. Because if you bring it out to anyone, it's going to not be a good situation for you. And there's some people you can't bring it out with, but even still, as long as you have maybe a person, and I know you're married, so I'm sure, you have your wife that you can turn to, but as a person that you can find that does that for you, that's it. You don't need the whole world to do it because it's not the whole world's job. But if you're able to find someone that you can rely on and they can give you that peace for that reason, that's it. That's a really good outlet too, because you never have to worry about feeling shame. I know when I was younger, whenever I would express myself and share these things like that, it would always be people bringing it back and throwing it in my face. And that's one of the things I hate the most in life. Like, if someone's coming at you in such a vulnerable moment, why would you ever throw back in their face that this is what happened? Oh, well, I remember when you needed me for this, and I remember when you went through that. Like, what do you mean? Why do you have to bring that back up? You know what I mean? That's nothing like, if you have someone that's crying at a very difficult moment in their life, like a very tough time. Oh, well, I remember when you were going through that breakup, and I remember when you were crying. I remember when you were defeated. Why would you ever do that to someone? Like, you think someone wants to relive that moment of pain because you're trying to look for a way to one-up them? Look for a way to come up on an opportunity to make them feel bad? Nah, I don't believe in that stuff. And we shouldn't have to do that. We shouldn't have to make people feel bad because of our insecurities. But that's what it comes down to. People are so afraid of being able to accept that others really may have tough times that they're going through, but they don't need you to rub it in their face. If you can't be supportive of them while they're going through that moment and supportive of them while they have moved on from that moment, then you don't need to be friends with them. So, thank you for that question, That's a really good question, and that's really important too. Especially as men, I think we have to really focus in on that. Because, of course, people still think of men as being macho all the time. And, he never cries. He's a thug. He's tough. He's insensitive. Look at what he did to her. Nah. It's okay as a man to cry. And, in fact, we should cry often. It's healthy to cry. Shit, I told y'all earlier I was crying when I got the news at work. I don't care. Shoot. Sometimes when you have good information like that, you can't really hold it in. It's not a bad thing. It's just a moment of showing the world that this is where I'm at in life, and I'm okay with that. I can accept that. Can y'all accept that? That's the problem. All right, everyone. So tonight's live is on manifestation and the importance of not giving up, achieving what you want based on believing that you are meant to get what you're supposed to get. So I'll leave it open again, the platform, just in case if anyone has any questions or concerns, we can definitely address them while we're here. Let me see how long we've been on here for. I know y'all got some questions. Guess not. All right, one more minute. No problem, Monty. Appreciate you for your question, man. And stay up, yo. Definitely. Maybe I'll do a poll to see what the next topic should be about. All right. I don't think there's any more questions, so I thank you everyone for your time, and I thank you for, the opportunity of allowing me to share my wisdom with you guys for today. And we'll definitely be back. I'll let you guys know again when the next one will come on. I'm not sure if it'll be tomorrow or maybe Saturday, but I'm definitely going to work on some ideas, and let's see what, people have to say. All right? Take care, and you guys have a good night. Peace.